welcome to the Oxygen Addict Triathlon Podcast. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors, PrecisionHydration.com.
Precision Hydration offer electrolyte drinks in different strengths to match how you sweat. Personalise your hydration strategy at PrecisionHydration.com and get a free box or tube of pH worth up to $9.99 using the code OxygenAddict.
And a big thank you as well to our patrons
who support the show with a monthly donation. You can get our 2018 Patrons Only podcast as a thank you.
And that will be being released this week as we speak. It's locked and loaded on the website, Hells. It's ready to press go as soon as I've worked out how to use the email system to tell all the people who are patrons where to go to listen to it.
So you can get a double whammy. If you're a patron, you can get a double whammy this week then.
You get a double whammy this week, yeah, and there's also a little bonus offer from Precision Hydration as well as a thank you now, which is nice as well. So yeah, jumping into today's podcast then, we are super excited to bring you an interview later on today with the one and only Terenzo Bozzone. He is the recent winner of Ironman New Zealand, as I'm sure you know. A super nice guy as well, Hells. What a nice chap. Really looking forward to you guys hearing that interview.
I hear good things about it.
Oh, he's great. He's really, really good. And welcome to the show. Hells, how are you doing today?
Do you want the truth, Rob?
You're barely awake, aren't you?
I'm barely awake. I'm sort of awake, but you can probably hear I'm a bit zombified. I think the Commonwealth Games have taken their toll, and I'm a little bit sleepy, but I'm here and I'm reporting for podcasting duty, and it will wake me up for the rest of the day. So hello.
It's dawn for you and it's midnight for me. We've got opposite ends of the day. Helen drew the short straw this week.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless you. Oh, so you survived it then. You got through. I'm sure it must have been absolutely exhausting.
It was, towards the end it was sort of like 5 hours sleep most nights. So yes, but we got through it. And
oh, you sound tired, mate. You really do.
Do I?
You do.
Sorry.
You sound all snoozy.
Yeah, no, I do feel quite snoozy. You know when you're dropping off to sleep, do you ever like jolt, like your body just kind of?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh
yeah.
My God! Last night I was so tired. It's almost like the whole bedroom shook because I was like, woke myself up again. Anyway, I'm here. Yeah, Gold Coast was, as a place, Rob, absolutely amazing. The experience of being there and working at the Commonwealth Games was incredible. Definitely, no offence to Glasgow, but definitely beat Glasgow. I think the weather and just being there at the beach helped.
Sure
Sport
did, yeah.
And some of the athletes were probably better in Glasgow. But things like England netballers beating Australia in the final, that sort of a thing. I didn't get to see it. You probably would have seen a lot more than I did.
I watched the whole
TV.
thing. I was gripped by it.
Exactly. I did not see that until 30 hours on maybe, and I saw like a few minutes of highlights. But wow, just some of that sort of a thing. That's amazing.
The semi-final and the final were two of the best sports matches I've seen in my life. I had tears in my eyes at the end of that semi-final against Jamaica. If anyone listening hasn't seen it, get on the BBC iPlayer and watch the last half of the England-Jamaica match. It's just brilliant. And the entire Australia match you have to watch as well. It's just fantastic stuff.
It's just such a wonderful showcase, isn't it, for a sport that doesn't get much coverage in the UK. Clearly elsewhere it's very popular. So there we go. So that was very cool, Rob. And then it was just amazing to be a part of it all.
Good. Well, I'll tell you what, my friend, let's jump into a little bit of triathlon action because there's all kinds of triathlon fun and games been happening this weekend while you've been buried in the Commonwealths.
I know. I did see some rather swift performances from people, rather hilarious sort of setups elsewhere. And let's get cracking. Yeah,
well, before we do the results, just going to give a shout out to our sponsors, PrecisionHydration.com. As always, our long-term listeners will know that pH are the essential element of hydration going into your water bottles. You've got to take care of those electrolytes. If you don't know how much you sweat, or you don't know the strength of your sweat, you can get a free hydration test or a salt test by going onto their website and doing their survey. You can actually see them in person as well and have a personalised sweat test done by Precision Hydration. They are, I think, Hell's without doubt the best sort of electrolyte company going, because their stuff just doesn't taste salty. That's the key to it.
Yeah.
For somebody like me who sweats is very concentrated, it's been a lifesaver for me doing triathlon recently, especially in hot weather. And Hells, we've got the sun on its way coming up this week. You won't know this. We've got a heat wave predicted. 5 solid days of sun coming up, so I'm all excited. I'm going to get out on the bike, and it's going to be in my water bottle. Get out there for those hot rides. So go over and check it out at precisionhydration.com. Listeners can get a free box or tube of pH worth up to $9.99 using the code OxygenAddict at checkout. So get over there, and there's loads of interesting articles and stuff to read as well. So yeah, support the guys who support the show, please, listeners. All right, Hells, we're going to kick it off with Ironman South Africa, the African Championship race, and we're going to start with the ladies' race because it was a bit of a British 1-2 here. First up, Lucy Charles just had a domination. She outswam all but one of the male pros with a 47.30, so she was, I think, 5 seconds down on Josh Amberger. She then turned out 4.57 on the bike and closed out with a very comfortable looking 3.05 run as well to go 8.56 overall. She didn't have it all her own way though, because Susie Cheetham turned out a very, very good race. She was only a couple of minutes slower on the bike and then turned out 3 hours flat on the run, so it sounds like she was pushing her all the way. Lucy ended up with a 6-minute cushion at the end, so Susie ended up with 9.02, and Lindsay Corbin ended up in third, and she turned out a 2.58 marathon to finish in 9.07, so the top three there really pushing each other all the way. Very, very impressive stuff. And something that was noticeable, our old buddy Matt Botterell's been working with both Lucy and Susie on the bike, and their bike positions just look fantastic. Really, really impressive. Lucy's got that sort of high-handed, almost praying mantis type position going on. I didn't see any film of Susie, but Lucy in particular looked really, really good. And
Rob, I did. Go on.
I was just going to say, we often talk about that sort of hour difference between the male winning time and female winning time. Lucy was only 40 minutes behind the winner of the male race on this occasion, so just goes to show what a good performance that was. Hey.
Oh, and I'm so pleased for the two of them, Rob, because obviously Lucy backing up, her second place at Kona, and clearly she, when you spoke to her, she had said about her swim hadn't had all that much attention over the past couple of years because she had been concentrating so much on, bringing her bike and bringing her run up to where they need to be, the top, the second best triathlete, Ironman athlete in the world going on Kona. But she is absolutely right up there, and clearly that swim as well, Rob. She's just got it. She's got it all. It's brilliant. And then for Susie, who's had a couple of tough years with injury as well, and then the bike crash and stuff, it's great to see her back.
Yeah.
Where she loves to be racing as well.
Well, I think that's going to be a massive confidence booster for her, and I think we're going to see her even higher up the field in Kona this year. I think that's a real marker to go 9.02 on the South Africa course on what was not a fast day by all accounts. Torsten's sort of saying, if anything, it was a little bit slower than was to be expected. So even though it wasn't windy, it wasn't particularly fast. So really good times for the pair of them there. And a bit of a shout out as well to poor old Emma Pallant, who came down with the DNF there. She had some kind of problem, I think, with a calf. I read that she pulled a calf muscle during the bike leg. She still finished, so she turned out 55 swim and 5.13 on the bike. So she was in solid position there. So she's going to always have some work done on that, and she's not going to be racing her planned. I think she's planning to do Marbella 70.3. So she's not going to be doing that now. Over in the men's race, It was Kyle Buckingham took it out with a 2:48 run. It was, like I said, Josh Amberger went off the front. I think he was 2 clear minutes ahead on the swim. A solid 4:31 on the bike, but all the news of the day there was Cam Worth turned out 4:19 to be 12 clear minutes faster than anybody else on the bike.
Wasn't he 3 seconds just outside the bike course record, Rob?
Yeah, it was just outside. Was it Reynard Tissing's bike record, I think? Which goes to show the quality of that bike record, doesn't it? Really, because we'd have expected from Cam's performance in Kona to decimate it, but yeah. Anyway, his run is, it's been improving. I don't think he's going to see this as one of his best runs. A 3:05. He's been running down in the very low 3 hours. With a 3 hour flat, he might have been holding on for second place there, and he'd have been very, very close to first overall. So he's just got to put a 3 hour marathon together and get a win at what would be a championship race. But a decent stacked field there. There's some very, very decent names on both the male and female side though, and it wasn't so many years ago that we were sort of saying we need some bigger races outside of just Kona. And this was good on both the men's and the ladies' side. So, yeah, good stuff. Cal Buckingham
it's the regional championship.
Say again, sorry.
It's the sort of the nature of the regional championships, isn't it?
It really has had the effect that they wanted it to have, hasn't it? So, good stuff. Kyle takes it out overall in 8:13. Josh Amberger in second in 8:16, and Maurice Clavel in 8:18. So, close racing there, right down to the wire, with only a couple of minutes between each of them at the end.
There were some really nice photos, Rob, of Ben Hoffman, who he obviously picked up an injury or something happened on the run, and he was there walking, cheering everyone else on as they went past.
Yeah, it's got him with a 6:42. So he'd been off the bike in the top 5 with a 4:30. It looks like it might have been second fastest bike of the day, actually. And then he's walked in for a 6:42 marathon. Good lad.
I see. I think that takes. I don't know. Walking it in, I think that takes real guts to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Real guts.
All right, let's jump over next race then. Over at Challenge Rome in the 70.3 distance. We had wins for Adam Bowden and Sarah Lewis. Now, I saw the times and was like, hang on, what's going on here? It was 3:22, the win for Adam Bowden. Looks like both the bike and the run course was short there, but still Adam came from fairly well back down the field, it sounds like, sort of 8th or 9th place off the bike and to take the win. So he's done a seriously impressive run there to zoom through the field. In the ladies' race, we had Sarah Lewis take the win and Alice Hector in second. So, impressive stuff there from those two.
And Rob, you should have a look at Lucy Gossage's sort of Twitter feed, and it just sounded like a complete disorganised, crazy weekend in Rome, and things like the race briefing not being. No one really having an idea where it was, and obviously the course then being short, and I don't think it was quite what it was advertised as.
Oh, interesting. I saw that she had a couple of video blog type things up, and I didn't get a chance to see them, but it looked like she was having an epic trying to get back to the airport as well in time for the flights.
Apparently, I think she made it for then a 24-hour shift at work today, apparently.
Good effort, Lucy. So 7th place for her, but only 6 minutes down off the podium. So, yeah, nice weekend away for Lucy.
Close racing, I think. Close racing. And then, Rob, over in China, Ali Brownlee got the win out there, didn't he?
Yeah, now how about this? He swam away from everybody and then turned out 2:01 on the bike to reach T2 with a 7.5 minute lead over none other than Craig Alexander. So he is in absolutely stonking bike form at the minute, isn't he? His swimmer bike is so strong. No one can touch him in this non-drafting format. It looks like he had a pretty cruisy run and took it out in 1:16. We know he's recovering from a run injury. Crowe came through in 1:12. So he still had a a solid barrier there. But there's a photo of Crowe at the finish, and he just looks in such good shape. The guy's, I think, the same age as me or a year younger than me. He just is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. There are sort of like, aren't there? There are, I guess, a few categories of people when you reach your mid-40s. There's, someone like Crowe who just looks in incredible shape. And then there are some people who are obviously not in incredible shape, not putting you in that category, Rob.
You can definitely put me in the not incredible shape compared to Crowe. I won't be offended by that at all.
But yeah, I don't think he really looks 44, 45, does he?
No, him and Cam Brown. I tell you what, need a bit of that. Get down the gym. That's the secret. All right, so we've got a bit of a coach's couch question this week. A Twitter question came in from Mike B.
He says, in a podcast last year, you spoke about putting several gels with some water in a bottle rather than carrying all the individual gels. Sounds so simple, but are there any weaknesses versus individual gels?
The reason I like putting them all in the water bottle is it's less messing around. You've got less things to worry about. You've got less litter to sort out afterwards. And the other good thing about it is if you put it in your water bottle and mix it with your water, you have to drink that water. You have to get the hydration in as well, because that's where your energy is coming from. Several different strategies you can go about with this, and obviously the caveat here is it works better with some forms of gel than others. The kinds of gel that tend to be really watery work brilliantly with this one. So a shout out to the High 5 ISO gels. I've been a big fan of theirs for a long time, and it works brilliantly. To mix them up, they're not too sweet. You can mix 3 or 4 in with a big bottle of water, and you've got 400 calories in a bottle, and it doesn't taste much of anything. Whereas some of the other energy powders I've used are really sickly sweet. So a couple of approaches you can take. The first one is for sprint and Olympic distance racing, where you're not going to be getting through probably even a full bottle on the bike. A couple of approaches there. Firstly, you can mix not a full water bottle up, so you're probably not going to need more than maybe one gel in a sprint or an Olympic. Mix it in with less than a full bottle of water, so you're going to get some liquid and fluid into you there. If you're stepping up to the 70.3 distance, I'd be saying look to put all of your energy needs into one bottle, and a rough rule of thumb here is you're looking at between 250 to 350 calories per hour, and mix those all into one bottle. So work out roughly how long you expect to be out on the bike course for. And so let's say you're out there for 3 hours, 250 calories an hour, you're going to need 750 calories during that bike leg. So you can get 7 or 8 gels into a bottle, mix it up with water. With the High 5 gel I've used as an example, that's probably going to be half a bottle's worth of gel and another half topped up with water. And then you can take swigs from that as you go along, and then you can just take water from the aid station as you go along. And there you are, happy days, you've got your water in one, you've got your energy in the other, and you're away. In terms of the energy breakdown for athletes, I'd say smaller and or female athletes need to be at the lower end of that, so 200, 250 calories an hour. Bigger athletes and athletes that are going to be out there for longer, possibly going to need a little bit more, so up towards that 300, 350 calories an hour. But test it in training, because the last thing you want to do is be putting too many calories in more than you can process, because it's only going to come out one of two ways. It's either going to give you an upset stomach and you're going to have to go to the toilet, or you're going to feel sick and you're going to end up throwing up. You can always put a little bit more calories in at an aid station if you need them. If you've put far too many in and you're not processing them, it's very unfortunate. The only way you're going to be able to get those calories processed is to back right down on the energy. And in terms of the number of grams of carbohydrate per hour, well, just really simply, there's 4 calories per gram. So if you do the maths based on 50 grams of carbs is 200 calories, you can't go far wrong with that. We've mentioned 70.3, so stepping up to Ironman distance, Again here, you can just about get 1,500 calories into one big 750 milliliter bottle by mixing in sort of 14 or 15 gels into one bottle. Actually, no, that's going to be a struggle, Hells. I'm telling a lie there. You probably get 12 of those high five gels in one bottle. So you get 12 in one bottle. You can get another 3 or 4 into your other water bottle. And so there you've got a situation where you're going to have all your energy in one bottle. You're going to have another bite bottle that you can start drinking from and use that as your first bottle. When that's done, discard it and replace it with just water. And then you've got all of your energy in the other bottle for the rest of the bike leg. And obviously you can take stuff from the aid stations as well. You can take a little bit of solids, but make sure you've tested how those gels mix with the solids on race day. And now this isn't the only way to do it, and I would say this strategy is aimed at people who are at the more competitive end and who don't really want to be slowing down too much for the aid stations. But I would say for all athletes, it's a great position to be in. If you can take care of all your energy and you've got it with you, you don't have to worry about slowing down and missing calories at the aid stations there. Is there anything else you can think of that we want to mention there with calories and bottles, Hells?
I would say about the special needs, your special needs bag. So if you can't fit everything on your bike, then put it in a special needs bag. And you can always make one stop at I don't know, it depends which race it is as to where that special needs station is. It might be that you only go past it once. It might be that you go past it twice, and you can put extra food, extra energy in a bottle in your special needs bag and do a swap. The thing I would say, Rob, about putting all of your gels in one bottle is sometimes that it's very difficult then to know exactly how much you have how much you are taking or how much you have taken on. So that's just one thing that when you practice it in training, then you get a better idea. But
yeah, absolutely.
Well,
a good way to go with that, Hells, is simply if you get a Sharpie marker and then divide your bottle up, however many you've put in, divide it up using the Sharpie marker on the side of your bottle. You can get a really good guide then for how much you've actually drunk. But it's a really good point to be able to keep on top of that. But as you've said, if you practice that in training, you soon get a feel for the fact that sort of 2 big gulps, 2 big mouthfuls of gel, if it's not washed down with anything, is going to be about what you get from one gel wrapper. But yeah, you're dead right. To have some kind of marker, especially in the early days, to let you know how much you're having is a real good idea.
Yep.
Good. Right then. So if you guys have got any more coaching questions, you can fire them through. You can send it through to me at coachrobwilby@oxygenaddict.com. You can also send any questions through if you're looking to get a training plan or if you're interested in coaching or a membership in Team Oxygen Addict. Just fire me over an email. I've got one slot available at the moment for private one-to-one coaching, and Team Oxygen Addict is open for members. If you are looking for some help for your training for triathlons this year, we would love to help you out. So just drop us a line.
How are the team, Rob? How are the team?
Going well. We've had a first couple of guys racing this weekend. I was looking at this and thinking, a bit chilly so far. It was that early season boundary open water sprint try this weekend, Hells.
Oh, see, rumours of it. Oh,
polar bears crying on the side of the lake. 11-degree swim, I was reliably informed, so it's a little bit chilly. But yeah, people are starting to race earlier and earlier, so yeah, it's good. But we've seen lots of people with big FTP increases the last couple of weeks, which is always good to see. So they'll be carrying that forward into their races going forward. So I love this time of year. Everyone's done all the hard work over winter and everyone's nervously waiting those first races to see how it's going to turn out. So it's good when people start racing and everyone gets excited about it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. It feels like a world away at the moment, Rob. And I put a number on Sunday on a 5K event that they had before the marathon. It was a mass. Yeah, it was a mass participation run, 6,000 people, all in yellow T-shirts. We started just after the elite men on the marathon, and they didn't do chip timing or anything like that because the point of it was
just
more about participation. Yeah, but it was, I mean, we only did 5K, and obviously you saw the awful scenes of, of Callum Hawkins. It was 31 degrees at 8:40.
Oh
It was
wow.
really, really, really hot. But it was good. It was good to get a number on, and I was so glad it was only 5K.
What was the general feeling over your way then with the Callum Hawkins situation? Because I was sitting watching live as that happened, and you could see it, for a good few hundred meters before he went down. You could see he was in real trouble, and he was weaving all over the road, and the weaving, you were like, oh, that doesn't look good. But you didn't think, he was so far ahead until the part he started to weave slightly left to right. You thought he had it in the bag, and then all of a sudden it was just all over for him.
Yeah, I think just like a lot of uh, people have said afterwards, like where was that medical attention, and then why were the people watching? What some of them were taking photos. Why were they taking photos?
Yeah,
But then equally,
that's the thing,
he's
isn't it? You can understand it taking the medical team a few minutes to get there, possibly, but the people who are, how would you not just jump over the barrier and help the guy, even if you just sat with him? The
but
woman, the
if
woman who was
he's
filming him, I just think she needs to have a word with herself. I'd be having a word with her if I saw her.
Yeah, but maybe at the beginning, when he first started to sort of look unsteady and wobbly and really, really not very well, perhaps at the same time, if he's saying to people, no, I'm fine, no, I'm fine, and if they then get
No,
assistance,
mate,
then
I wasn't meaning at that point. There was a point where he went down for the second time and banged his head against
yeah,
the metal rail, and people
oh
were just
yeah,
stood
yeah,
there.
no,
It was
yeah,
just,
it was horrible,
yeah,
absolutely horrible, and you wouldn't want to see. You wouldn't want to see a friend go through that. You wouldn't want to see a family member. You don't want to see anybody going through what he went through with no one around him actually
yeah,
helping him.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's horrible.
You wonder if there's a kind of like frozen paralysis thing happens when people are watching something that is a big sporting stage and people perhaps genuinely don't know what to do. But, okay, you like to think you'd have got over there and helped the guy a little bit somehow, just even rearranged his arms and legs a bit, wouldn't you?
But perhaps there is that sometimes that fear, as you say, not knowing
Yeah, I don't know,
what
mate. He
to
wasn't getting
do.
back up,
I
was
know.
he?
No,
Yeah.
exactly. So you'd think surely there would have been some medical attention, some medical help. It was, yeah, really, really uncomfortable to have to see that,
Yeah.
and even why the cameras didn't even cut away from him as well. That was the other thing. So everyone's watching, and you're like, actually, he
Yeah,
really might not have
yeah,
been okay.
exactly. And
You'd
you're
cut
standing there
away.
with the camera.
Yeah, you'd cut away.
Oh, right. Stop ranting now. I'm going to get down off my high horse. And let's segue beautifully into possibly the nicest guy in triathlon, recent winner of Ironman New Zealand. He's also won Ironman Western Australia. He's won loads of other 70.3s recently because he's been on a real winning streak. Really loved this conversation. So without further ado, here is today's interview of the week with Terenzo Bozzone. So really excited to welcome onto the show Terenzo Bozzone. Mate, it's brilliant to have you on. Congratulations on the recent win at Ironman New Zealand. And do you know, I was sitting there making some notes before you came on, and you've had a lot of wins over the past few months, man. You've been busy. You've been zooming around the world, and you're that example of someone who races when they're in form and races yourself fit, right? So you must be delighted with how the last few months have gone.
Cheers, Rob. Great to be on the show with you. Yeah, really delighted. I mean, the early part of last year was tough. I spent the whole year kind of fighting, just trying to get on the podium. Ended up getting injured. Fit the challenge raw. And I didn't get on the podium until 3 weeks out from Kona at Cozumel 70.3, and that was late September. And things progressed well from there. I had a good race there, solid race in Kona. Finished off the year well, and then with 4 back-to-back races. And I was a little I was kind of, I'm not sure how the year's going to start off, and I was a little bit laid back and kind of just going through the motions a bit. And I wasn't actually going to do Ironman New Zealand. yeah, we're hanging around over Christmas, and my brother said, "Oh, I'm thinking I might do my first Ironman. I might do New Zealand." I'm like, oh shoot, okay, if you're gonna do it, then I better start training. But even then, I tried to get back into it, got a little bit sick, so ended up after Ironman WA, it ended up being 7 weeks of downtime, and then just kind of wound up gently into Ironman, and probably all those years of the miles and the banked up miles in the legs kind of worked well for me.
Yeah, well, you said it. Well, listen, I mean, as I said, I did a little bit of research before this, and I was thinking to myself, it seems like Terenzo's been around forever. I got into the sport properly in about 2002, and so I went back through your website, and the stats here, man, are pretty staggering. Because are you 33 still?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're 33, but
I
you've been
started
in the
doing the
sport
sport
for.
when everyone I started with is retiring now.
Well, you were. Is this right? You were World Junior Elite duathlon champion when you were 15
Yeah,
in
so 2 times
2001.
duathlon and 2 times triathlon.
So from 2001 onwards, you've had, let's get this right, 32 wins over the 70.3 distance and 22 national championships over multisport, running, swimming, all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah,
And and you're still only 33 years old, and kind of I was reflecting, this is almost the age where a sort of popular conception says this is where you start to get good at Ironman. You occasionally see guys in the 20s having a good race, but early 30s is where people sort of say. In fact, just last night I was listening to Macca saying the 30s is where you develop this, not like even an all-over body strength, but a mental strength and a belief in what you can do. And he's like, it's just starting for Terenzo now in his 30s. Now I was thinking, far out, man, you've been doing this for like close to 20 years already.
yeah. Yeah, 18, 19 years. But yeah, no, and the same thing. Macca said that, and a lot of people said it to me, and my dad as well said, yeah, just wait till you get to your 30s, you'll feel superhuman. And sure enough, hit 30, and like, where is this all round great feeling? And yeah, spent the first couple of years in my 30s knocking my head against the wall a bit. But yeah, no, I definitely when things are going good now, I feel. Mentally, I've definitely taken a huge step up, and physically as well. Just my body bounces back really quick, and I can just, I know, I guess I know what my body can give me on a certain day, kind of thing. After doing this sport for so long, I'm also pretty fortunate. I do have. Probably when things are going good, between 5, 6, 7 hours of massage physiotherapy on my body a week. Not quite what Jan Frodeno has, but still, good chunk. And I think that's also helped me a lot. A little bit older now, so everything's stiffening up a bit, and all those niggles that you could run through when you were a teenager, they tend to slow you down a bit more now.
So lots of physical therapy and lots of work on the body, and that's the key to kind of keeping you rolling at the moment, is it?
Yeah, I mean, good nutrition, good hydration is a huge part. Managing fatigue levels and load levels, and not just training, but like life load as well. So my wife and I were very fortunate. Both sets of parents, our parents are really helpful and hands on. But my wife does work she owns her own company, so she works pretty hard. And just there's a little bit of juggling to try and keep everything in balance, and everyone achieving what they need to achieve by the end of the day.
The thing that staggers me is I think there's a perception that sometimes professional athletes have got it much easier than the rest of us, fitting in training around everything else because it's your job. But you've got a wife with her own sort of rapidly growing company. You've got 2 kids under the age of 3 in the house. So that's not an easy gig, mind, by anybody's stretch of the imagination, is it? So you've been putting in the hard yards and not getting much sleep as well over the last few years, hey?
It is. It's definitely not as glamorous as what it would seem. And here I am being the stereotypical type, looking at a professional basketball player when they're not on the court training, they're in front of the TV playing TV games. But no, I'm sure it's not like that. But life is definitely full on. But at the end of it gets stressful. But at the end of the day, especially when it's not raining outside. When you get to do what you love, it's pretty special day in and day out.
That's fantastic, man. Let me ask you this. How does it feel racing a 70.3 just a week after winning Ironman New Zealand in sub 8 hours? Because I kind of want to believe, whenever I've done an Ironman, I've not really been able to walk properly until about the Friday of the following week. So in my head, I'm kind of going, maybe it's different for Terenzo. Maybe he just doesn't feel the same way that I do. How do you feel the day after? How did you feel the day after New Zealand?
Well, don't worry. In 2009, after my first Ironman New Zealand, I think I had 4 weeks off after the race, and even then, still getting back into running, it felt like my muscles had still been taken to by a sledgehammer. So, I think
that's so great to hear. Thanks, man.
Don't worry. years of all the miles in the bank, and I guess the big things are what your body, like your muscle shape, is going into the race, will affect how you recover and how the muscles feel straight afterwards. So like I said, touched on the massage and physio. That's a huge part. Eating healthy, good hydration, that's a good part. Good compression. Always, I mean, most days leading into the race and all days after the race, got your 2 times your compression socks on or tights on, and cranking the Normatex, and it's just everything's revolved around recovery. I won't have any debt. Like after Ironman, the next day I rode my bike for an hour, I think, and did something every day. So just 1 to 2 workouts every day. Kept it pretty light until the last couple of days leading into the race, where I would open up the tank, rev the motor a little bit, and just make sure the body knew that something hard was coming. We're not just going leisurely.
And were you free of soreness then by the following weekend when it came time to blitz out that half marathon? Did your legs feel you kind of back to normal?
To be honest, legs bounced back pretty
Wow.
good. My brother and I rode on Tuesday. We did 2.5 hours after Ironman New Zealand. I mean, it wasn't fast, and he did the race as well. But yeah, we just turned over, and the soreness wasn't there. Like that soreness, you can't walk down the stairs. I was pretty fortunate, didn't have that. And race day came around. Like, yeah, there was no soreness. There was no like general tiredness. I'd done a couple workouts once I got to Argentina. One of them was some 1K, like basically 1K on, 1K off, and I was getting down to around 3:20 on some pretty rough surfaces, and that felt somewhat comfortable. So, and then race day, unfortunately, it was 7 degrees on race morning, so it was freezing. I was going around the other pro athletes trying to borrow clothes because I didn't actually expect it to be that cold, and borrowed a pair of gloves. I got thermal on. I had a jacket in my bag, which I was in my transition 1 bag, which I was very close to putting on. I got the arm warmers on, and on the bike, I felt a little bit dead on the bike. Legs definitely felt dead, but then on the run, things felt okay. And then it was funny, the following weekend in Mexico, the bike felt good, but the run felt a little bit dead. So yeah, I mean, it was a little bit unknown, but there was going to be, I guess, it was going to be a struggle somewhere, and it was just interesting that's how it unfolded.
How much? In fact, I'll come back to that question because I really want to go back to New Zealand. I want to hear the story of how New Zealand played out for you, because you had a super decent swim. You're out of the water in sort of flat 49 or high 48s, weren't you? But was it Dylan McNeice was already 3 minutes up the road at that point? He had a blinding swim, didn't he? And it can't be often that someone puts Dylan 3 minutes into you in an Ironman swim.
Yeah. I mean, Dylan's a great swimmer and he's a good guy. So I was kind of expecting. I mean, I thought a perfect world. I'd had some good swims. I thought perfect world. I'll get out the water with him, but that would have to be a really, really good swim. And as soon as the gun went off, it was just one of those swims that I had to just be pretty mentally tough, because it felt like I was going to drop off the back of the lead group the whole way around. Things just weren't coming out of the body nicely, and I was just had to exercise patience and hope that if something's going so bad, hopefully something else is going to go so good later on. And thankfully it did. But it was funny because I mean, usually I'm out of the water in about 47 minutes or so. So they had changed the swim course. Maybe we were a little bit slow. Maybe it was a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, it would have been funny to have an extra couple minutes of leeway getting onto the bike as well.
And then how did the bike play out for you? It looks from I didn't see the live feed, but from what I've read, it looks like you and Joe Skipper hooked up together, kind of around the halfway point somewhere, and you guys rode, man.
So it was pretty mellow for the first 80, 90 Ks. Kind of grouped together. We caught Dylan about 85 Ks. We finally bridged across to Dylan. At about 40 Ks in, so the first turnaround, Cam Brown, Joe Skipper, all those guys had bridged across. So it was interesting having them there so early on in the race, because usually you would expect a little more of a buffer. But I kind of, I was, like I said, I'd only been training, I think, 6 weeks running into it. So I was a little bit concerned about where the fitness was. And also, I guess, 9 years of going out Gundam Star and cracking later on in the bike. That was, I didn't really want to experience that. So I wanted to try and pace things a little bit better. And looks like, that worked quite well for me. So 80 Ks, just before we come back into town, there's a little bit of an incline, and Joe Skipper, and my memory's failing me at the moment. I just had a busy couple hours with the kids. Joe Skipper, Mike Phillips, and there was another guy as well that got away. I let them get a little bit of a gap, and then try to drop the group to bridge across and try and work with those guys. And so I spent the whole town section giving it a good push, which was quite nice, getting through the corners with some a little bit of space between me and the guys behind me, and finally caught them just on the other end of town as we were heading back onto Loop 2. And by that stage, the guy whose name is Mr. Lockie. He was kind of struggling a bit at that stage. That's usually where I start to struggle. And so he dropped off. So there were three of us working together, and about 30 Ks later, or 40 Ks later, Mike Phillips dropped off as well, which was a shame because I was looking forward to racing with him. He'd kind of finished off last year and started this year quite well. So Joe and I just kind of took turns on the front, about 3 to 5 minutes each. It was actually really good to have someone who was riding at my kind of pace. It was a good effort level, and just to be able to work with that and grow our lead. And even the last 40 Ks, we grew our lead on Cameron Brown, which is pretty unheard of, because Cameron usually rides that last 40 Ks back into town better than anyone. So that was that worked out really well. I kept kicking myself that early on in my career, on the early days of Ironman, with he was a good friend and training partner at the time, Kieran Doe. We had the potential to kind of get away and work together on the bike, and he was an Uber biker as well. But yeah, it seemed every time we were in the position, he kind of sat up and waited for Brownie to catch up, which was a bit unfortunate.
Well, no such problems this year. Did you guys have a perception of how fast you were riding? Because it sounds, from the way you describe it, I'm sure it didn't feel like this at the time, but it sounds like you were just kind of riding along and taking a few minutes each. But you were both down, like, if you went under 420, it was pretty darn close to it. So it's super fast riding by mortal standards, especially on. It's not renowned for being a fast course, is it? The New Zealand course.
No, it's not. It's not. The chip on the New Zealand road is really rough. It's a really, really slow road. Very undulating. I think we're over 1,000 vertical meters of climbing through the bike. We were just fortunate we had really good wind this time. Kind of a wind that you very rarely get, and. We kind of, both of us looked at our watches at the far turnaround with 45 Ks to go, and got a split on the chase group, which Cameron Brown and the likes there. And I think we had built up 5 or 6 minutes at that stage. And so that was pretty good over 40 k's. We thought, okay, cool, we'll just keep steady and just see what we can do. And a couple times, I think soon after that split, Joe got a bit of extra motivation, and all of a sudden the power just went. I was like, hey mate, if you want to try drop me, just let me know and I'll back off and you can go right that hard. Let's just work. Let's just kind of keep pushing along, and we'll hopefully keep growing our lead, and that's what we did, and it was actually really nice to be able to ride because it's predominantly uphill on the way back, so a lot of false flats, a little bit of uphill, and it was nice to be kind of looking down at the speedo and going, geez, we're still up around 43, 44, 45 k's an hour and rolling uphill.
Did you have a perception coming into T2 that sub 8 might be on? I mean, you guys were I was going to say you guys are side by side, but actually when I saw the little video clip, you put a handful of seconds into Joe in transition, and I was thinking, wow, this is going to be a side by side Iron War kind of thing. But you just seem to kind of run away from Joe, and gradually put some time into him.
Yeah, to be honest, the 8 hour thing never crossed my mind, even when people were yelling at me from the side of the road, because I was like, I never thought 8 hours. I don't think anyone ever thought 8 hours would be possible on that course. So that thought never even crossed my mind until afterwards someone said you went 8:00, and the unofficial time was I think 0:04, like 4 seconds or something. Riding into town, so like 2 k's to go. I had a pretty close call where a car almost killed me. That
really?
Was, Joe was behind me. He saw it, and he said that was pretty impressive bike handling skills. I was like, thanks, Joe. Let's keep working together. And we got into transition, and I guess I've always kind of pushed transition. I kind of don't want to waste my time and waste any seconds in transition. So I got out with a couple seconds, and I kind of thought, let's just test Joe, see where he's at, and I felt really good. My legs felt good, so I kind of I went out and just started running, doing my thing, and to be honest, I was happier to be running by myself at that stage because that way you're in control. You're not being the pace isn't being determined by someone else, and Joe's a great runner, and I knew if I was with him, he would have been the one dictating the pace a bit more. I would have kind of been holding back and looking at what he was doing. But yeah, I kind of went out. I felt good. I was real happy that the gap was opening. So that was kind of extra motivation. And everyone on the course was telling me, "Yeah, this is your year. This is your year." It's like, you guys have been telling me this for the last 8 years. We've still got 37 k's to go.
Because that's the other thing, right? That even though you're only 33, as we said, was this your 10th Ironman New Zealand? Is that right?
Yeah, 10th one. Yeah, I think I've DNF one, but there's been a good round of some average results there.
So, are you starting to feel as though? I mean, I don't know whether anybody actually ever feels like they've got Ironman cracked in inverted commas. Even the pros are always a bit like, it could go either way. I could go sub 8 or I could not finish. Are you starting to feel as though a few things have fallen into place? You've had a couple of sub 8s now. You've had back-to-backs at Western Australia, and been sub 8 there as well. And then you had, obviously in October, you had what for you described as that was a win for you, finishing 6th at Kona and finally almost getting that monkey off your back and putting a good performance together in Kona. You must be feeling pretty confident looking forwards and getting back to October this year.
Yeah, like you said, it's hard to feel that you've cracked Ironman. It's a pretty ugly beast, and I mean the amount of guys, the top contenders that come into Kona and crack or don't have the race you would expect is a huge number. And I mean, I guess there's always that little bit of doubt in your mind that do I have this locked in? Do I know what I'm doing? And you just hope that that whenever you stand on the start line, you can push the play button in the back of your mind and just keep unfolding this perfect race. Kona in October is really exciting. It's kind of especially after Ironman New Zealand, my motivation's higher than ever, and I can't wait just to kind of get out there and I mean not expect too much from myself, but just try and try and take a step forward on where we were last year. See if I can be a little bit stronger that last section of the bike, and I think I lost 7 minutes in the last 40 k's to Jan and those guys, and
Wow.
and see what can happen on that marathon after doing a solid 2:44 down in New Zealand. So there's a lot of excitement, but there's always a lot of pieces in the puzzle that you kind of need to get right. And I guess that's the daunting part, is you have all the pieces, and it's how do you put them together in a way that's going to put you on the start line in Kona in the best shape to execute the race that I know I'm capable of.
Let me ask you a little bit about both mentoring and coaching through your career. And I'll start off with the mentoring thing, actually, because it leads in quite nicely from what you've just said. I was a massive fan of Chris McCormack. And I remember he talked about you a lot. He's always on podcasts and he's always doing interviews, as you know. And he talked about you a lot in the run into, I think it must have been his second win in Kona. And he was saying, obviously, you and he have done loads of training together over the years, and you'd done a big block out in Kona. And he said you'd been practicing sprint finishes together down early morning, down where the finish line's going to be, and you and him having a go at each other, practicing running for the old tree that used to be the finish line down. And I got the sense, I mean, Mac has always been someone who seemed to play mind games with his competition a little bit, and I got the sense that wasn't the case with you. He was like, I surround myself with the young, keen guys who are really talented but really want it, and they push me on. He seemed to me to be genuinely saying, I expected this race to be between me and Terenzo, and I was gutted he wasn't there with me in the home straight kind of thing. How much of an influence was Macca on you, sort of growing up, and as you moved towards the Ironman distance?
Yeah, no, I mean at that stage he was in a whole other league. There was going to be no sprint finish between me and him unless I had angel wings on the day. That's 100%. That's all Macca was. He was a good friend, a mentor, a good training partner. Our wives are good friends, and it was just a lot of fun to hang out with him and train in Kona, where the training can be quite tough and it can be quite a lot of solitude. We would be heading out 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning to ride to Harvey over the Kahalas and back along the top road. It's a good 200k ride, and he'd be singing, we'd be laughing, telling stories, and my abs were sore before we got to Harvey, and I'm like, dude, stop playing head games with me. You're making my abs sore before we got to climb up this mountain. But no, it was all good. We had a lot of fun, and I kept the vibe relaxed and I kept it young. I brought down the average age of the group quite well. And I mean, he was a wealth of knowledge, and I just wish I could have absorbed more from him in that short time we trained together. Because I guess from after that it was he went the ITU route, tried to qualify for the Olympics and go down that route, which was a shame because I was loving training with him and learning from him. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was going to say this leads us on actually quite nicely to sort of talking about the environment you train in and your training partners and stuff, because I bimbled on, following the links on the internet the other day to Dan Pluse's website and was reading how I was like, Dan Pluse is, riding with you and he's part of your training group and he started doing some coaching with you recently. And I knew the name and I Googled back, and Dan won what was the first triathlon I ever did, this tiny little local race in Yorkshire back in 2001, 2002. And I thought, I remember that name. Can it be the same guy?
Yeah.
So Dan actually, for people who don't know, he's got a PhD, hasn't he, in performance science. And I think he won the overall age group race at New Zealand this year as well. So
he did, yeah.
He's obviously walking the walk as well as doing it. How does your relationship work out in terms of, is he a coach? Is he an advisor? Obviously, you train together all the time.
Yeah, so Dan and I have been training together for a few years now, off and on. When I'm in the country, we try to get out for a few workouts. And I, the end of last year, we were doing quite a bit of training kind of over the end of the winter down here and leading into the Kona block. And he goes, if you would like, I'll just give you a little bit of input. monitor where you're at physically, physiologically, and just give you a little bit of input leading into Kona. And it was just cool because he was about to have his first kid, and ended up popping out right around basically Kona Day, I think, or the day before. Um, and yeah, I guess just being in a similar situation, he works full time as well, which he kind of understand, and he's trained hard, he's performed hard, performed well, so he kind of understood kind of where I was at, and what I needed in a sense, and to be honest, he didn't have a lot of input early on. He just kind of gave little bits and pieces, and said, yeah, maybe move this workout here, change this workout to this. But it was just good having someone who knew me well from being out training day in and day out, and could give me a little bit more insight into what I should be doing. And that's progressed into probably more of a formal relationship. We still train pretty hard, and unfortunately, leading into Ironman New Zealand, he kept having the upper hand on me on the run workouts we were doing. So that was a little demoralizing. But I made sure on the very last one, a week out, I put him in the hurt locker pretty good. Yeah, so no, it's been a pretty cool, I guess, new partnership. But yeah, he's pretty motivated on performing well in Kona this year as well, in the age group division, and I'm pretty motivated in performing well in the pro division, and hopefully we can help each other get there. But yeah, and I've been very fortunate as well. John Ackland, he's coached me for most of my career, and I guess just over the last couple of years, been taking slightly more of a back step in things. I think after doing it for as long as I've been doing it, you kind of you know what works for you, you know what doesn't, and yeah, you have more of an input into things. So so that's kind of why he started just taking more of a back foot. But he's still a huge mentor of mine, and a good friend, and we chat most weeks about how things are tracking.
How much of your coaching relationships? I mean, as you've said, you've been world champion level for close to 20 years now. So physically, you're very in tune with your body, and you've obviously always been doing the kind of training that's going to get you in the kind of shape to win at the very highest level. How much of your coaching relationship is a mental thing? How much is getting inside your head and dealing with fears and things like that? Is that mainly how the relationship is these days?
I guess, to be honest, that was probably more of the early development stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of early on in my career, and John worked really hard with me on that. I think at times he felt like he was smashing his head against the wall. And with Dan, it's probably less of the mental side, but the physiological side, the monitoring daily numbers and stuff is pretty huge. So I think that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I'm pretty intuitive. I know where my body's at, and I think I finally not cracked it, but got a good understanding of Ironman over the years, and that headspace has kind of progressed a lot in the last couple of years. So we'll see. But I mean, there's still the psychology side of it. There's a huge void there that, I mean, you can learn a lot and develop a lot in that area. So I'm constantly learning and trying to pick up bits and pieces.
Cool. And I've got to ask you this in one of the closing questions here. You're 33 now. Cam Brown just turned out his fastest ever time at Ironman New Zealand, broke his own course record, and there you are ahead of him. But he turns 46 this year, and he's still going strong. So if you follow in the footsteps and keep up with all the physiotherapy, you've potentially got 13 more years in your career here. How does that feel, looking down the barrel of that?
Well, as long as my wife doesn't hear. No, I mean, Cam is a huge inspiration for him to be, I guess, just pushing, showing everyone that the norms of kind of retiring at 40 doesn't have to be so, is just huge. And like you said, he's racing quicker than ever. I think he did a workout yesterday. He did a 4 or 5 hour pretty solid bike, and then ran 5Ks off the bike at 3 minute 30K pace, so 17:30 for 5K. and then went into 5x1K 3 minute K pace. So he's definitely not getting slower, especially in the running. And yeah, to be honest, 46, another 13 years. I'm not sure if I have that in me, but I think I've definitely got another 5 to 7 or so. And yeah, it's just we're just kind of, I guess, early on with the kids now, and just trying to figure out how that whole thing is going to work. So this year's our first full year with both the kids, and just I guess just trying to get our head around how we structure things, where we base, racing load. And to be honest, the racing load is quite good because you can get away and have a few nights of serenity and be a selfish pro athlete again for a couple of days. Hence why I do so many races.
That's it. It's actually a block of time away from getting woken up in the middle of the night for you. Everyone else has got sore legs, and you're thinking, at least I get a lie-in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's funny. Flying to Argentina the first couple of days were great because, just sleeping and relaxing and doing my thing. But yeah, after that, you definitely start missing them a lot. And thank God for FaceTime and Skype and all that stuff, because you go back 10, 15 years and calling cards just wouldn't cut it. To be able to spend this much time away from them. The other good thing about having kids and being woken up with broken sleep, being woken up in the night, is jet lag's a thing of the past. Because hey, if you fly over to the other side of the world and you get 7 hours straight consistent sleep, that's pretty good. So my wife's got our 1-year-old sleeping through the night now. I'm like, oh, that's kind of good, but also kind of a little bit disappointing, because it's gonna ruin my anti-jet lag situation.
All right, so last question then. We're going to fast forward to Kona 2018. We've got you gunning for the win this year. We've got Kienle, we've got Sanders. I'm going to list all these people, and
it might be here a while.
There's so many quality athletes, right, from the last few years. We've also got Gomez, who's going to be racing for the first time this year. We've got Al Brownlee, who's lining up from 70.3s and might make an appearance in the next year or two.
Yeah.
How does the ideal race play out for you in your head when you're looking at it and thinking, this is how I see the win happening for me? Or do you think that far ahead? What's the strategy? Come on, give it away. I'm sure.
I need to get Macca back on the island with me, talking me through it and practicing our sprint finishes.
Yeah.
I think in a perfect world, it's a good swim with that front group, being there or thereabouts when the shift happens up at Harvey, but being able to do that with control, and getting off the bike with decent legs, not too fatigued and not overheating, because that's a huge problem there. And then the marathon is, if you're off the bike far enough forward, you need to be running kind of under 250, around that 245, 247, to be able to run away with it. But that's pretty hard when you're probably riding pretty similar pace and power to what Lieta was riding back in the day. Yeah. To be riding with the likes of Jan Frodeno, Lionel Sanders, and then just hope that this golden skin complexion of mine will reflect the sun all day, and I'll be running out of the energy lab still feeling fresh and cool.
Awesome stuff. Hey, well, listen, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and do the interview. It's been great chatting with you, and congratulations on those wins. And we'll really be rooting for you as you move forward to Kona this year.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rob, and hopefully see you around some of the races in the future.
All right, man. Take care of yourself. Thanks a lot.
Too easy. Cheers, bro.
Really good guy. Really enjoyed that.
He's a top guy, Rob, and just his winning streak recently has just been so impressive.
Yeah. I loved, sort of saying, okay, so you basically went from doing the Ironman, headed to a 70.3, really sore legs for the Wednesday. Thursday you tried to run, you went out and blasted it and thought, okay, my legs feel all right now. And then you go out and win a 70.3 at the weekend. From really sore to absolutely fine overnight. I love that.
It's
Not something that affects most
bonkers.
of us, is it?
Yeah, no. Yeah, honestly, it was just like, wow.
I wonder how Tim Don's legs felt this morning after his recent run at the Boston Marathon.
Oh, Rob, I would love to. I would love to know how Tim Don is feeling. He must be an emotional. His emotions just must be everywhere, Rob. So,
Yeah,
Tim Don managed to run. He said he was going to run sub 250 at Boston, didn't he?
he did, yeah.
And this is after you've probably read the article, you've probably seen videos of him after that horrendous crash in Kona just a few days out, and then he's had this halo to, as part of his rehab and recovery, and he was basically chair bound, Rob, for sort of 6 weeks. He couldn't do anything, and then gradually, little by little, he's built back up, and then to go and run a sub 250 marathon in, quite frankly, horrible, wintry, freezing conditions in Boston is beyond inspiring for us all.
The context there, I mean, all of that said, right, amazing that the guy can go out and, he's lucky to be walking, isn't he? He's lucky to not be paralysed after all of the stuff that he's been through. To then go out and run a 250 marathon itself is pretty staggering. But then the context of it is, last year's female winner went 2:21, and this year's female winner went 2:40. Now, not all of that's down to the conditions, but some of it is. So, wowzers. I wonder how much faster than 250 you would have been had it been decent conditions.
Yeah, don't know.
It's great to see him back and at it, isn't it?
So good, isn't it? Yep.
I wonder whether we're going to see him back to his highest level this year at Ironman Racing. Because you'd imagine the run's going to be the hardest part for him to come back. So if he's already running 250, that's fantastic news.
Wouldn't that be just the icing on the cake of a absolutely stellar career?
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We're all behind him.
Great stuff. All right, well, I think that's just about all the news that's fit to print for this week, Hells.
I think so. We will keep our eyes peeled for more news for next week.
I shall indeed. Last thing from you, how's things at Fueled by Kate going?
Well, it seems like quite a long way away. I brought 8 copies out to Australia. I do not have 8 copies with me, so that's good. Just had a really big order in for like 35, 40 books, which is fantastic from one person. So that's really, very cool. And then, again, if you would like to order a copy, head to fueledbykate.com. All money raised is going to be going to 3 charities. So Young Epilepsy and East Cheshire Hospice and Melanoma UK, and we're aiming to raise around £15,000, and we are well on the way. So do keep spreading the word, keep baking. Got loads of lovely recipes in there from the likes of Rachel Joyce and Vicky Holland and Chrissy Wellington and Rob. Yes, Rob's Nan's Date and Walnut loaf is in there. It's cracking.
It's worth buying just for the Date and Walnut cake alone, isn't it?
Just for that. It's £10. fueledbykate.com. Thank you.
Great stuff. All right, so listen, quick shout out. Remember, send in your nominations for the Tribe Triathlete of the Month award to either helen@oxygenaddict.com or help@oxygenaddict.com. If you've got a race result that you would like to recognise, either one of your own or one of your friends, send us in a nomination with a quick paragraph about who the person is and why, and you could be winning a massive bundle of 18 delicious goodies from our friends over at Tribe and a Tribe t-shirt. Also, a big shout out, thank you to our sponsors, precisionhydration.com. Remember, you can use the code OxygenAddict to get £9.99's worth free product. So yeah, get in there and get some of that ordered. And again, thanks very much for all of our patrons for supporting the show. If you haven't become a patron yet and you'd like to, you can just click on the link either in the show notes or at the banner at the side of our website. You'll get access to our free Patrons podcast that comes out this week. And you'll also get an extra bonus discount code from our sponsors, Precision Hydration. So, yeah, until next week, Hells, I hope you have a great time finishing up in Australia.
Thank you. I don't want to come home, Rob.
I'm not sure that I blame. But if you get back quick, you might catch the tail end of this heat wave. So, bring some sunshine back with you.
Okay, deal. Done.
All right, so listen, I'm Coach Rob Wilby.
I'm Helen Murray.
And you've been listening to the Oxygen Addict Triathlon Podcast. Until next week, have a great, safe training, racing week. Get out there in the sunshine, do something inspiring, have a great time, and we'll talk to you again next week. All right, cheers, everyone. See ya.